All right, big dog. So here we have it. You guys have asked, and we're going to do it. The Dragon Ruler deck profile. Now, I want to say a couple of things. There have been some changes made since the duel challenge to make this Dragon Ruler deck a little bit different than what you guys seen on the video, but still pretty much the theory is still there, and I'll even be discussing some of the changes that were made. But today I'm going to be breaking down this Dragon Ruler deck profile and everything you need to know about this deck. So one of the things that I would say about Dragon Ruler is that it's a rogue Yu-Gi-Oh deck at best. It's not going to be a world ender, guys. It's not a crazy strong deck. It's really, really fun to play, though. So for the Dragon Ruler monsters, there's 2 copies of Tempest, 2 copies of Tidal, 2 copies of Blaster, and 2 copies of Redox. I thought this was the perfect ratio. There are times where like you open like double Tempest or something like that, and that does suck, or double Tidal. But those times are not really often, right? I think the odds of drawing 2 Tempest is like 2.1% or something like that. I don't know the math off the top of my head, but it does suck to draw that. But at the end of the day, you don't want to play 3 copies of these cards because these cards will really, really clog. So it's not like a thing that you want to do. You can always shuffle them back with one of your Dragon Ruler cards, but overall, I decided to keep with that ratio. And then for the little dragons, there's 3 copies of Spectral, 1 Stream, 1 Burner, 1 React, and 1 Lightning. I tried playing multiple copies of the little Dragon Rulers. I tried playing the Armed Dragon engine. I tried doing like other things with it, but I always wound up for this as my base for Dragon Rulers. And the simple reason is because like you don't want to see too many of these cards. You don't want to have to rely on another card to be able to get full advantage. And the real only good dragon, baby dragon, like these are okay, but the real good one is Spectral. The dark one is okay. I found myself like never really summoning it or using it, so I wound up cutting it. But this is pretty standard for most Dragon Ruler builds. Did you know that Konami is what is? All right. I didn't know that. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that information though. But that's it for the Dragon Rulers. And to be honest with you, this is very, very standard for most Dragon Ruler Yu-Gi-Oh decks. And what I've been playing with for, I want to say about, I don't know, since the set came out. Next, we have the Tenpai cards. There's 2 Genroku, 1 Chundra, 1 Fodora, and 2 Pydra. And then the 1 Dora Dora. Some places or some decks are just playing the 2 Pydra. And it actually does come up that you'll summon Dora. Dora searches the Genroku. And then you'll combo into Pydra. And then Pydra gets you another card. So I think at the very worst, it should be something like this instead of just 2 Pydra. Granted, the Pydra does allow you to be able to search your Sengen summoning and your Sengen Kaiman. But if you lead off with Dora Dora in your combo, then it means these cards are actually live when you summon them from your deck. So I thought that this was a really good ratio. At best, I would probably do this. I think Fodora is a little unnecessary, to be honest. I think you can actually go like this. But sometimes like this card does come up to actually like resummon a monster. So that's the reason why I kept it. But the Tenpai engine is probably the best engine for this deck right now, is because these are the best Fire Dragon monsters to search off a Blaster. It actually makes Blaster a useful card. I do mainboard the 1 copy of Quackimiru Drago. I think that you could get away with playing Drago in Arc Lord Christia. The reason why players are playing that is because there's less infinite impermanence and effect veiler into the format. But obviously the cards are not good going second for obvious reasons. And secondly, Arc Lord Christia is only good when you full combo. But if you full combo, you probably win the game. Like if I can literally full combo and go into the big True King, it's almost the exact same thing. Oh, the reason why I played this card is because like this card allows you to be able to go past mid combo. Like if you make seals, you can summon this card and then stymie them off. But again, if you're going full combo and you make the big Dragon Ruler, there's not a single deck in Master Duel in Yu-Gi-Oh that can actually beat the big Chaos Ruler guy, right? This deck does have a decent amount of room for board breakers and hand traps. One thing that I realized about this deck really quickly is that those low impact hand traps are not going to be enough. So I only went with like really good board breakers and high impact hand traps. With that being said, it feels really weird to play Nibiru the Primal Being in your deck with no like effect veiler or infinite impermanence. But I think the only deck that can kind of get around it is Ryzeo when they get their Ryzeo cross. But other than this forces our opponent to make half boards, which is like really, really easy to be able to break with Dragon Rulers. There's 3 copies of Droning Logbird because this card simply ends the opponent's turn. And then 3 copies of Mochumi Fwawalis. I was playing Fwawalis and Perulia inside of this deck. but I also was playing a strictly going second deck. Like I was playing cards like Lightning Storm, Herpes Feather Duster, Foolish, Perulia, and stuff like that. And then I started to realize that while Perulia is a good card, that's also a water card in the graveyard, this deck should have more versatility for going first and going second. So that's why I decided to drop the Perulias and just stick to Flawless, Droll, and Nibiru for my hand traps. No Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring because, so people were playing Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to be able to stop the Mulch Armies, but I didn't think that that was like necessary. Like it doesn't matter how many times you draw. If I go full combo with this deck, then you know it's what can you draw to out the Dragon Roller guy? There's really nothing. From there's 3 copies of Droplets. This card actually is kind of cracked in here, just because you can send the Dragon Rollers to the graveyard and then send your Dragon Rollers from the field. There are times where you have like something like Lightning and a Red Ox in hand. So you discard these 2 to be able to summon out the Tempest, but now you're kind of stuck with just these 2 in graveyard and this on the field. So then you Dropless this off the field, and now you can actually start to do your Dragon Roller combos and negate a card alongside of the way. So that actually does come up. I think Cellsban is one of the most underrated cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! I like this card as a board breaker, but it's also like if you have the nuts, let's say if you have the combo and you know that there's a card that you fear, like Nibiru the Primal Being, Ash Blossom, Droll and Logbird, just go ahead and Cellsban it to make sure that your combo goes through, and now you just win. Next is Called By, Tactics, and Gold Sarcophagus. I actually don't really like this card. It was my 42nd card inside of the deck, and I don't think that these 2 cards are necessary, but sideboard room is really, really important. That's why I think that 42 is really good. In fact, I think that everybody should play 42 Yu-Gi-Oh cards in their deck, at least 42. I don't really like 43, even though mathematically it's still the same thing, but it's something about odd numbers that gets me off. And I'll be making a video about why 42 cards in your deck does not matter. For the extra deck, this one's pretty simple. The only 10 I play is Transcendent Dragon. Some people are playing like Bestial Dispatter and stuff, or they're playing like Trident Dragon. The odds of this like being important enough for you to go full Tempai Dragon combo and OTK is not really high, but to be honest, there's some cards you could cut in here to make room for it if you really wanted to. 2 Bident, because like you can actually summon Bident and use its effect on turn 2. The Black Rose in the Moonlight, one of these level 7s has to get wasted for your combo, and I oftentimes choose Black Rose or Moonlight to waste, but then sometimes you need to like synchro into another 7 in the later portions, and that's why I'm playing so many 7s. 1 Seals, 1 Striker, 1 SP. That's it for the links. 1 copy of Black Disaster. To be honest, again, if you have full combo, what about 43 card decks? I mean, like, they're the same thing as 40 card decks, but again, different conversation, right? If you can full combo, which means you can make this card, you win the game. So, like, again, there's no point. I was playing 2 copies of this card, and it's simply because like sometimes this gets like getting rid of, and then if your opponent gets rid of this card, you have no way to make this card. I cut it down to 1 for really no reason. You can actually cut like 1 of these level 7s to go back to 2 of it. And then 2 copies of Chasma, 1 copy of Typhoon. Now, you guys are probably wondering what exactly is the full combo, and I'm not going to kid you guys. There's so many ways to make full combo, but since this is a 2-card combo deck, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how the full combo is made. Pretty much Spectral is full combo with any dragon. Like, obviously, any card to discard to make Spectral. Let's just... I don't even know what to use here. Let's use Molchummy. Oh, you can't use Molchummy for all this. Oh, almost cooked myself there. I don't want to use like a Dragon Ruler or something. Let's use Quackimiru Drago, obviously, because if you Quackimiru Drago, if you draw it, it's obviously a discard, but it also can be a normal summon. You'll discard to be able to search. What I like to do here is I like to search Blaster, and I like to search one of the unimportant ones, which is going to be Stream in this situation. You then discard to summon Tidal to your side of the field. Where is that Tidal? Boom, here goes Tidal. And now I'm going to use, oh, actually, I'm so sorry. I did this wrong. You should be adding Tidal. And here, where's that card? Burner. My apologies. So you discard these 2 to be able to summon out Blaster, right? And then you activate Tidal, you banish 2 of your dragons, and you summon Tidal to your side of the field. From here, you Exceed summon with these 2 monsters into your Chasma, And then you use your Chasma's effect. You detach your blaster. You send your Tempest. And you can add any dragon monster from your deck to your hand because you're using the second effect of Tempest. So here you can add like Dora Drago. Summon Dora. I called it Dora Drago. That's crazy. Get your Tempai Dragon Genroku. Special summon your Genroku because you added it and modified it into a 4. We are going to synchro summon into Biden Dragon. Biden Dragon summon back Genroku. Genroku's effect. Now we're locked into dragons. Oftentimes you'll summon Pydra, and Pydra here actually does have an important effect. If you guys are going first, or if you guys have extra cards in your hand, you add Sengen Summoning. And if you guys don't have extra cards in your hand, you add the Sengen Kaiman, right? So now we activate the Sengen Kaiman. We add the Chandra to our hand. And now we use Chandra's effect. We can special summon it. And boom, we can synchro summon into our second level 7 monster here. So we will synchro summon into our Wasteful 7. I haven't found a way to make that card actually useful. And the problem here is that we need a monster like Redox into the graveyard to be able to go full combo. But again, I did this with just 2 cards, and there's like multiple ways to be able to get into your Fire Dragon. Like I actually could have searched the Redox in there and then banished a blaster to be able to get into this combo, which now that I think about it, I probably should have did if I wanted to make it full combo, which is that still possible to fix? Nope. I don't think it's possible to fix because this shuffles to be able to summon one. So I can summon another blaster, but I wouldn't be able to make the big dragon. So I might have to do some slight rewinding. Let's go these back into the deck. Let's go ahead and fix this problem here. So this was the detach to search. That would have been my graveyard. And I would have searched Redox, which no biggie to fix, right? We'll then use Redox. We'll banish these 2. Excuse me. To summon Redox, activate the effect of our blaster to be able to get Dora. This is still graveyard. Now we normal summon Dora, add Genroku, make it 4, synchro summon out Biden, summon Genroku, use its effect, summon out Pydra, get the Kaiman, summon out Chandra. So now we're back to the exact same thing. All I did was fix one of my mistakes here. From here, we already have 2 7s, so we can just synchro into the seals. And now we have Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Dark, Light. Exceed summon with these 2. That's in graveyard. Into our Eclipse. Eclipse could shuffle back in one of the little ones like this to summon again. That's up to you. It's really just a free monster. But then you just use these 2 monsters for the Exceed summon. And you go into your Disaster Dragon. So now you activate the effect of your Disaster Dragon. You add... And where is my wind? You add all 4. And again, like this is a win con. 4,600 attack, 4,600 defense, unaffected by card effects, right? This card tributes to be able to bounce. And then if you add this in deck, you obviously would summon this. So you give your opponent lots and lots and lots of fits. Just by doing that little 2-card combo, you get a Disaster and this card in your hand. And that's pretty much the whole thing about the deck. That's really all it does. I wish it did more, but if I'm being so honest with you, it's not that. Would it be worth it to run QE Belt for level 7s just in case? I haven't found a way, like a reason to run it. I mean, I guess you could. Clear Wing instead of Moonlight. That's up to you. Again, that extra 7 is really, I'm not even going to lie to you. There were times where Moonlight came up. There were times where Q-Belt could have came up. It's really, really up to you. It doesn't really matter at this point in time. But in this situation, we make the Disaster. You make the seals. You cook your opponent. All you need is this little light monster and 1 extra dragon monster in your hand. And then there's still other ways to be able to do it. But that's like the most straightforward way. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and let me know what you think. And I can't wait to see what you have to say about Dragon Rulers. Really, really fun deck to play. Let me know what you have to say down below in the comment section. I'll catch you on the next one.